Nashville generates almost 40% of Tennessee's entire economy. Drive 90 minutes in any direction, and you're in a county that's losing population, losing hospitals, losing jobs. But here's what makes it strange. The state still markets itself as one of America's biggest success stories, and on paper, it is. The numbers add up, the brochures are accurate, they're just describing one city, while the state around it is quietly falling apart in slow motion. Two rankings, same state, same year. In 2025, Tennessee was ranked the #1 state in America for business climate. That same year, on the same data set from the same publication, the state was ranked dead last for quality of life. Most analysts read those two rankings as a contradiction, a glitch, a methodology argument, a statistical fluke. They are not. They are a description of two different places that happen to share the same border. One of them is Nashville. The other is everything else. This video is the drive between them. What the brochure was selling. For about a decade, Tennessee had one of the most effective state brand pitches in America. No state income tax, cost of living below the coastal metros. Nashville reinvented from country music capital into a corporate relocation magnet. Bachelorette parties on Broadway by night, glass towers going up by day. Headlines called it the It State. In 2022, the Wall Street Journal named it the hottest job market in the entire country. Oracle moved its global headquarters to East Bank. AllianceBernstein moved up from New York. Mitsubishi Motors moved its North American operations from California. U-Haul migration data showed Tennessee dominating inbound rankings year after year. Tourists came, companies came, capital came. Nashville glowed brighter every year, and the state told the story of that one skyline as if it were the story of the entire map. Every billboard, every press release, every relocation announcement reinforced the same image, a single bright downtown standing in for 95 counties that most of America couldn't find on a map. But the brochure was always describing one city in one decade. The numbers underneath it have already started moving in the opposite direction. And if you like videos that take a state apart and show what's actually moving inside it, hit subscribe. To see how far those numbers have moved, you have to start naming names. Here's the headline. Tennessee added 72,500 net new jobs in 2023. In 2024, that figure fell to 7,300. In 2025, it dropped to roughly 1,400, about 0.04% growth across the entire state. Effectively zero. 2 years ago, Tennessee was being called the hottest job market in America. Today, it has a state economy that has stopped growing, and what little growth remained, Nashville absorbed almost all of it. The aggregate number hides the texture. Behind it is a roll call. The Eggo plant in Fayette County, 142 workers, closed June 2024. Parkdale Mills in Johnson County, 120 textile workers, closed January 2025. The Nashville mines in Smith County, 300 workers, closed December 2023. Adient auto seats in Henderson and Maury counties, over 400 workers, closed June 2025. International Paper in Shelby County, 297 workers, closed January 2025. Tenneco Auto Parts in Spring Hill, 349 workers lost across 2024 and 2025. That list runs another 24 entries long. Auto, paper, textiles, mining, food processing, hardwoods, every rural sector was hit at the same time, in the span of about 18 months. And every one of those names is a small town. Johnson County's Parkdale Mill was one of the last major textile employers in a corner of Appalachia where there isn't much else. The Nashville zinc mines in Smith County were high-wage industrial jobs in a county of fewer than 20,000 people. When Adient closed its seat plants, that single decision wiped out a meaningful share of two counties' manufacturing bases at once. These are not headline numbers in a national report. They are the entire economic spine of the towns that lost them. This is what 0% job growth looks like up close. It isn't a soft landing, it's a roll call. But a job stall alone doesn't explain a dead, last quality of life ranking. There's something else hiding inside the state average, something the drive is about to make visible. And the second largest city in Tennessee just made the headline in the worst possible way. 60 minutes outside Nashville, in counties that have nothing economically to do with the city, in our rearview mirror, the math gets ugly. Nashville generates roughly 40% of Tennessee's entire GDP. That isn't a metro punching above its weight. That's a state running on a single functional engine, while 94 other counties live on the exhaust. And the second largest engine, it just blew. In 2024, Shelby County, home to Memphis, led the entire United States in numeric population loss. More than any other county in America, more than Los Angeles County, more than St. Louis, more than New Orleans. Tennessee's largest county, the home of one of the most iconic cities in American culture, the home of Beale Street and Stax and FedEx and the Mississippi River trade, lost more people in a single year than any other county in the country. And it isn't a one-time blip. Memphis has lost population in 11 of the last 12 years, and the pace has more than quadrupled since 2020. 6 of the 11 Tennessee counties that lost population in 2024 are clustered along the Mississippi River corridor in West Tennessee. The bleed isn't a rural problem and a Memphis problem. It's the same problem, stretched across half the state. So the bright spot on the map isn't Nashville and Memphis, it's just Nashville. When Nashville grows, the state averages glow. When Nashville stalls, the state averages stagnate. Inside that average is bachelorette tourism revenue stacked on top of counties where the local hospital just closed. Tech relocation salaries averaged with a Mississippi River county that has bled population for 12 straight years. A new corporate headquarters in East Bank averaged with a textile mill closure in Mountain City. Tennessee isn't booming and falling apart in different places at different times. It's doing both on the same road at the same hour, under the same flag. The brochure only photographs the first 10 minutes of the drive. Once you accept that the state average is hiding 2 states, one growing in Middle Tennessee, one bleeding everywhere else, the rest of the data starts making sense. Starting with the number that broke the brand. The number that broke the brand. The Tennessee pitch was always partly about safety, the affordable, low-stress alternative to the coastal metros. Move to Nashville, raise your kids somewhere calmer, keep more of your paycheck. That was the offer. Then the numbers came in. Tennessee has the 3rd highest violent crime rate in America, roughly 628 incidents per 100,000 residents in 2023, about 68 to 70% above the national average. Approximately 43,000 violent incidents in a single year. Memphis ranked among the most dangerous cities in the country. Nashville's own crime numbers, while lower than Memphis, are nowhere near the figures the brochure had been quietly promising. Chattanooga and Knoxville both posted violent crime rates above the national average as well. CNBC analysis gave Tennessee just 61 out of 265 possible quality of life points and named crime as the central factor in the dead last ranking. The safe alternative half of the brochure did not survive contact with the state's own data, but crime is only one of 3 quality of life pieces that broke. The second one is what happens when the people in this part of the drive get hurt or sick, and on this number, Tennessee leads the entire country. The hospital that isn't there anymore. We're now 2 hours from Broadway. The road is dark. The hospital that used to be in this county isn't here anymore. Tennessee has the highest rate of rural hospital closures per capita in the United States. 16 rural facilities have closed since 2012. 4 shut down in 2020 alone. The geography that creates is brutal. More than 1 in 4 rural Tennessee counties has no hospital at all. 1 in 5 has no emergency room. For those counties, the ambulance is the emergency room, and the nearest hospital can mean an hour on a 2-lane highway in either direction, in the dark, in the rain, behind a logging truck. In Paris, Tennessee, Henry County, on the Kentucky border, about 90 minutes from Nashville, the hospital is still open, but its maternity ward closed in August 2023. In the final week before it shut, only 1 woman delivered there. The other rooms were empty. The art had been taken off the walls. Pregnant patients in Henry County now drive 1 hour or more to deliver. and some of their insurance will not cover the alternative facilities just across the state line in Kentucky. For a woman in active labor, the difference between a 30-minute drive and a 90-minute drive is not an inconvenience. It is a medical event. Tennessee's rural maternal outcomes have been deteriorating for years, and the closures are a meaningful part of why. When a maternity ward closes, the next nearest one usually does not have the slack to absorb the demand. Women in their third trimester now plan their lives around proximity to a hospital that still exists, which is harder than it sounds when a third of the rural map does not have one anymore. In Salina, Clay County, smaller and further out, the entire hospital closed in 2020. The town had about 1,400 people. The mayor ran for office specifically trying to reopen it. This is what the quality of life ranking is actually measuring, not a policy debate. The geography of a state where 1/3 of the rural map has no hospital, and that map keeps growing. 300,000 Tennesseans are uninsured. 250,000 more sit in a coverage gap. And from where the car is parked right now, the closest functioning emergency room is over an hour away. When a state's job growth has collapsed to zero, its rural hospitals are closing faster than anywhere in America. And its public safety numbers run third highest in the country. The people who live in it start doing math. And what the math comes back with is the part of the story Nashville isn't supposed to hear. The pitch that got priced away. For years, Tennessee was a net inbound state. That was the brand. The trajectory is now mixed and metro-specific. Nashville keeps pulling in transplants, but across most of the rest of the state, the math has flipped. 11 Tennessee counties lost population last year. West Tennessee is bleeding. Working-age adults, the most expensive people to lose, are leaving rural counties for the jobs, healthcare, and affordability the state's brand promised, but only Nashville ever actually delivered. And here's the bend in the story. The affordable Tennessee pitch is now hardest to hear from inside Nashville itself. Nashville is not more expensive than Charlotte or Raleigh by some staggering margin. It is modestly higher than both, and still cheaper than Austin. That is not the story. The story is what Nashville's price has done relative to the state it sits in. Nashville's median home now exceeds 7 times Tennessee's median household income. A Nashville mortgage eats nearly 45% of the local median household income versus around 31% in Raleigh. Think about what that ratio actually means in practice. It means someone earning the Nashville median income cannot afford the Nashville median home, not as a hardship case, but by definition, by the math. It means the working couple that bought a house in East Nashville in 2014 is sitting on hundreds of thousands of dollars of equity they cannot access without leaving the city entirely. It means the teacher who would have moved to Nashville a decade ago for the affordability pitch can no longer afford to live there. The nurse, the restaurant manager, the music industry assistant, the staff sergeant transferring from Fort Campbell, the people the brand was built to attract, have been priced out of the city the state markets to them. The brand is being eaten by its own gravity. Nashville pulled in capital, jobs, and people fast enough that the affordability that anchored the entire pitch has been priced away. And the rest of the state, the part that was supposed to share in the boom, is leaving in the other direction. But the part of this story that should be loudest has not been said yet. It is what the numbers all add up to from outside the state. The verdict from outside. The 2025 CNBC Top States for Business list put Tennessee dead last for quality of life. That was the worst score in the country for a state that simultaneously ranked first for business climate. Local business leaders are now saying it publicly. The trajectory will eventually undercut the state's ability to attract and retain the talent that fueled the boom in the first place. Not because of any single policy, because the gap between the brand and the reality has become wide enough to notice from out of state. Recruiters report it, relocators report it. The Nashville HR director, who used to close out-of-state hires with the cost of living pitch, is now closing them, with sign-on bonuses and rent stipends instead. The boom is still happening in Nashville. The story underneath has finally caught up with the marketing. So we return to where we started with new eyes. The glow in the rear view. We pull back into Nashville one more time. Broadway is still loud. The Bachelorette buses are still rolling. Construction cranes still spin over the downtown skyline. The CNBC business ranking still says Tennessee is #1 in America for doing business. But zoom out one click further to the satellite view, to the state outline, to the headlights pointed back the way we came, and the picture changes. The bright spot has not grown in 5 years. The shadow has. Counties that lit up a decade ago have dimmed. The hospital that closed is still closed. The Eggo plant did not reopen. The Memphis population did not come back. The 90-minute drive from the start of this video is not a thought experiment. It is the geography of the entire state outside one zip code. Tennessee is not a state that is failing. It is a state that has been replaced by one city on the cover of a brochure with everything underneath quietly going dark. If you want to see what other parts of America look like once you actually drive away from the headline, the next video is on the end screen. Subscribe, because there is a new one every week.